to another edition of Rise and Shine. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Michael Moore case. And we've got Pastor Gilbert here sharing the mic. We're just going to talk about something different. We don't want to really lay the blame. We really want to talk about how to keep our youth from getting in situations like this. And if there are in situations like this, how not to escalate the situation. Hopefully this will be very beneficial to you, and we're going to see you right after this commercial break.
H&H Financial Services in Mobile has over 20 years experience in accounting, bookkeeping, appraisals, real estate, and year-round tax preparations. Give them a call today at 251-438-1620 or visit them at 1560 St. Stephen's Road in Mobile. Let your money grow in our care at H&H Financial Services.
Accident, hurt, you don't know what to do or who to call? Car insurance or not, we got you. No money, no problem. We got you. We get paid by the car insurance. Don't delay, they got you. Call me, Dr. James Gordon, DC at 476-PAIN. We got you. That's 476-PAIN. The choice is yours.
Join Robert Battles, Henry Hasib, and myself this Sunday at 5:30 in the morning for the next edition of Rise and Shine on Fox 10. I want to say today we have very important topics going on. We got a lot of political stuff going on in the state and the federal level and the city levels. But we also, more importantly, we had a rash of robberies lately in Mobile. With a couple of Waffle Houses, gas stations, a bank. There was a gentleman. There was, I think, one or two arrests made yesterday. That I think the police officers hoped that would slow down some of the goings on. And also, wanted to talk with the community about the Michael Moore case and about, I guess, the relationship between the police officers and the community. I think it's very important that we keep in mind, I guess, that both sides struggle. I think when you have a situation, Pastor Gilbert, where a person gets, where there's a shooting or an incident where a life is taken, it affects people on both sides of the coin. Mm-hmm. It's not the family. We need to keep in mind the Moore family, and our prayers certainly go out to them. We also must pray for the police officers as well. That's a tough job.
Absolutely.
And fortunately in Mobile we have a very diverse police force. I would just, everybody needs to try to, I guess we need to try to comment on how we can, not necessarily trying to pick this case apart, because Lord knows a lot has been said in many forms of media over the past few weeks. We've got people coming out of town trying to be the authority or trying to speak on the subject matter. But I think it's very important to let the investigation take its course, and I'm sure that with the federal agencies and the state agencies and the local agencies looking into the matter, that the truth will come out. God is always in control, and the truth will come out.
Absolutely.
But I say that this to say that what are some of the things we can do to save our youth? We tend to think that the black youth is more prone to getting in a violent encounter with a police officer or law enforcement than the white youth. But we need to maybe explore that. Why do we feel that is the case? Why do we feel that the black youth of today handle law enforcement differently than the black youth of yesterday? That would be me and Pastor Gilbert. I think I'm the elder of the two. He's a spring chicken in here. He's still got a lot of black hair in his head. So
no hair.
No hair. Okay. He shaved this morning. But Pastor, I was thinking, when I reflect on what happened in the Michael Moore case and how that was handled, I think back that when you and I had an encounter, maybe growing up with law enforcement, how we handled it, how we were able to handle it differently. And I think that's as important as Well, nothing's more important than find out the facts of a case, certainly when it's your loved one involved. But what's important for the future of our youth, be they black, white, pink, or red, is to find out how do we go from where do we go from here? How do we make sure that this doesn't happen again, or to minimize the chance of it happening again?
You know, Dr. Gordon, I feel, and I'm glad that we are discussing this matter today, because I think the foundation of it all begins in the home.
Yes, sir.
I think it begins in the home, and you reiterated to when you and I were growing up and how we handled it when we faced. I knew that when we faced the police or whatever, whoever was in charge, okay,
Yes,
all right,
sir.
to have that respect, okay, for them, because I was raised that way, okay?
Yes, sir.
And so I think that begins in the home. The foundation of it all, to me, begins in the home. You've got to have somebody that's going to speak to those issues and rear you and guide you in the way which is right.
Well, the youth today, say we have a person who doesn't have the support system that you and I may have had. What would you say to that youth today? How would that? I mean, what if you encounter an officer? What would you say? How would you tell that youth today to encounter the officer? How would you tell them to handle it? What would you tell them to do? Those who are listening today.
I would tell them to be respectful for it. Okay, to be respectful and to respect the office in which they hold. Okay, all right.
Yes,
you
sir.
don't know what the reason is they're stopping you or the reason that they're pursuing you. Just respect that office for now, and you'll be able to deal with the matter later if
Yes.
it's out of order.
Yes, sir. And that's a very important fact. You can't really have justice in the street.
Right.
There's nothing, I think if an officer stops you and gives you a ticket for something that you did not do, there's no way to resolve that in the street.
Absolutely.
That is what the court system is for. And even in court you may lose, but that is the only way to get a resolution is in the court of law,
Yes,
not
sir.
necessarily street. Street justice never works.
Yes, sir.
We're dealing with law enforcement. I do say that we would like for you to join the conversation. 251-457-0601 is the number to call. 457-0601 is the number to call if you want to join the conversation. Pastor Gibbard, I want to say also that anytime that I get stopped, and I have to say 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I probably got stopped a lot more frequently than I do today.
Okay.
But I would always try to get my insurance card and my license in my hand before I even stop. I slow down the car, put the flashers on, or turn the interior light on to signify to the officer that I see him. I would start slowing my speed, and I'll look for a clear spot to pull over.
Okay.
But in doing so, I get my wallet out and try to get my information out and have it in my hand. The only thing I want in my hand is a driver's license, an insurance card, and possibly registration.
Okay.
Even so much to if it's in the dash or the glove box, as some call it, I may reach for that while I'm preparing to stop, because we don't know officers' past or what officer's been through that day or an officer's mindset. Me and you, what we come through, I guess when we came up, we had the KKK, you had the white supremacist markings and whatnot, and we were very familiar with hate, people who feel like they hate one another just for the sake of a race or what have you. So if you or I were an officer, we pull over a young white man, and in the back seat he has a KKK outfit, or has one on, or has a tattoo or something that signifies that he dislikes the other races, that may put us in a mindset that we really don't need to be in.
Right.
And so to not escalate that situation, I think that if you had those informations in your hand when the officer stopped you, with your hands where they're visible. Mine are out the window. If my windows are broke, they're out the sunroof. If I can't let down my window, but they're clearly visible. And I turn the inside light on if it's a nighttime, so they'll see that all you see is my hands and this driver's license in my hand. I don't want to make any sudden moves with the driver's license where it flicker on the light and look like anything.
Right.
I want to just sort of be as presentable. I just want to present that here's my information, wherever you put me over for. And I don't want you to perceive me as posing a threat.
Yes, sir.
Because I was thinking a situation with Michael Moore, if he had anything in his waist, and if he got out and the officer is going to put his hands up, but what young men do today, many times, they have their hands down, one hand down to pull up to hold up their trousers a little bit. So if his trousers start to slide, and you put your hand down to catch it as a matter of habit, that right there could easily be perceived.
You're reaching
for something, and that so it's so many things that can go wrong in these situations that we need to teach our youth that if you're going to wear those clothes that are off your waist a little bit, and if the officer has you hold your hands up and your pants slide or what have you, allow them to slide.
Right.
I mean that movement, any sudden movement is what's going to escalate a situation, and God forbid, it's sad that we had a sad situation that occurred, but and no one, I'm sure the facts will come out. If the person's hand was up or down, the muscles will move a certain way with that. They'll be able to tell during the investigation. So there's nothing that was said that can't be verified.
Right.
And thank God for forensic science, and thank God for the doctors and the investigators. All that information will come out.
Yes, sir.
And the truth will be known, and we just got to be ready to hear the truth, be it whatever side it's on, and to try to keep peace in the community, because it does no good to cause a disruption in the community, such as what happened in Ferguson and a few other places. And there are people in this country some who look like you and I, Reverend Giver, who would love to see a violent protest because they benefit from it.
Right.
People donate money to them for it to help. Here's some food to help feed people. Here's some money to help with this, that, and the other. So they sort of live for these moments, and we got to make sure that we that the calmer voice, that the mature voice, that the voice that we know in the community to be right, that voice prevails. We got to make sure that that's the voice that should be heard. It's the one that says, "Hey, let's get the facts, and let's if we need to protest or have a problem, let's do it in a peaceful way or civil way. That's what the court system is for. And if we don't get the outcome we want, we have to be ready for that as well." So anytime we have a rally in the future, it'd be my prayer is that we have both sides of the parties there. We need to have the representatives from law enforcement, from local law enforcement, black and white. We need to have representatives from the clergy community and the political community be black and white. It doesn't need to be a black issue and a white issue. This is Mobile, Alabama. We're not, we got our race problems, we got our many problems, we got our income problems, we got many problems in our city like many others do. But one problem that we shouldn't have is communication problems. And if we are not afraid to sit down across the table from one another, we should be able to talk it out and try to understand each other and try to get agree to disagree, or try to find a way to fix a wrong. If we find out, hey, there's a pattern here. The chief of police you have, and Chief Barber, who's I don't know, and I look at you, Reverend Giver, I think you look like a person of Asian descent, and so does the chief of police. So I don't know. So that's probably a racist or a politically incorrect statement, but welcome to my world. But I would say you got a police officer there who I think would bend over backwards to try to make sure that he's doing things the right way. And as many years have I known the person, the man, and I've seen this in him, that he tried to do the right thing. So I feel confident in our chief of police for the city of Mobile, Chief Barber. And I just want to say let the investigation run its course, and don't let any outside agitators who have something to gain stir the pot. Let calm prevail. But I think to our young men and our young women, what can we say to them, Pastor, that makes for a more peaceful encounter with the officers? If they feel like they've been done wrong, how would you handle that? How would you say?
It's a grave concern, and I think what we need to put into our young people is even when facing the authorities. Okay, all right. You reflected back to something a few minutes ago, Dr. Gordon, when you said that if you were stopped by the police, you would go to get your information, so that when he got to the car, you would have your. I wouldn't do that. I would, cause I think that any move like that, he may be thinking you're going to get something out of the glove compartment.
Yes.
Okay. Or you're trying to hide something in the glove compartment. What I would do would keep my hands 10 and 2 on the steering wheel. Okay.
Yes.
Till he got to the, to the window. I mean, they roll the window down. I'd roll the window down. Tell him my information is in the glove compartment. Okay. All right. Give him the respect of that authority that he has, okay? Because you don't want one move to be thought that, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That you're going for. The object of it all is to live to see another day.
Yes, sir.
All right? Because you can't, you don't have a voice if you're a statistic, okay?
Right. Yes, sir.
Saying that you reached for something and he didn't know what it was.
Right.
Okay, all right. So I would definitely instill that in our young people, okay? To just, again, I say respect the authority until you can, your voice is going to be heard. If you have to do it in court, if you have to do it, get to your parents, so your parents can, and let them know what happened and what went down, okay? So that you can seek counsel on which way to go from there.
Yes,
But don't do anything tragically, okay?
Yes,
That's gonna, ultimately, okay, cause your hurt and harm, okay? In the office of reaching for something that, you might have been just, but he could have said that you was reaching for something that he thought was,
Right.
okay?
Yes.
So it's best to just keep the matter, give respect to the authorities, and that's what I would instill
Yes.
in our young people.
And that's, I guess you heard two different ways. Now, what I was just to clarify, when we're reaching for that credentials,
Mm-hmm.
we do this while we're rolling. We're not doing anything after the car stops.
Okay.
You don't want any movement in the car once the car stops. Don't move. Don't move from the floor. Don't move for anything. If you drop something, leave it drop.
Leave it drop.
Don't move for anything. If you want to put your phone on record and
I
lay it
know,
down on
that's
the
right.
seat, you can
Yes.
do that. But you don't want to hold your phone in your hand. Don't want to hold anything that may
Right.
flash in your hand, because even if they're wrong, we still have a loss of life. So right or wrong, we don't want loss of life. We
Right.
want to live to see another day.
Live to
That's
see
the
another
main
day.
thing. And we can always take up our grievances at the proper venue, and that's
Absolutely.
not the proper venue. I
Absolutely.
think these shows we see on TV, these reality shows, are anything but reality.
Right.
Many of them are most fake, from the Kardashians to the Hip Hop's Atlanta to the Basketball Wives. All these are just made up shows for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
People are not living this way. People are not acting this way for real. They have to overact and overreach and overdo things just for the sake of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Our young folks need to understand that. Back in the day, folks used to believe that wrestling was the most real sport, and and it was really sad when they found out that that was a staged event. But we got to understand that the things that happen to us in the street and within with law enforcement, dealing with the authorities, is very real. These officers have families and issues and everything that you go through and they're going through. Everything you go through, they're going through. Your relationships, what have you. So at the end of the day, you got two like-minded individuals
Right.
meeting each other, but one is in a position of authority.
Right.
And one, it can be, if something happens, can be said that I thought, and that I thought, well, is it reasonable for you to think that? Yeah, it's reasonable for me to think that. Now it's justified. We don't
Right.
want that to happen to any more of our kids, be they black, white, pink, or red. But we've got to first find ways of not escalating the situation. Pastor Gilbert said, keep your hands at 10 and 2. And that's that steering wheel position.
I know that's right.
He had driver's ed.
I
I
know
was
that's
running
right.
the country. They basically just set me in the car and let me drive. I didn't know anything about 10 and 2 until about I was 32. And I started driving at 14. So 10 and 2 is that position on the steering wheel. Like I
Right.
said, he just wait for instructions. I roll down my window while I'm going, and I have everything ready. So the officer comes to the car, and he had to really ask for anything. Just let me see your driver's
Mhm.
license and what have you, and I'm gonna hand those to them, and I may be in a lot of trouble depending on what traffic law I broke that day. So I'm I never admit to guilt. I guess we never do when we make a U-turn, illegal U-turn or speeding or what have you. But I want to say they got a job to do. We've got to help them out by trying to offer them that respect, and hopefully the officers will have some sensitivity training.
Right.
But the problem with the officers in the military is that they're always taught not to second guess themselves. So they're more they just, I mean, if you can't second guess yourself. There was a gentleman, that robbed a bank the other day, and I believe that he was caught. I think the chief of police caught someone robbing an apartment complex, and the guy wanted to fuss at the chief for violating his civil rights. Stay tuned. We're having a conversation talking about the Michael Moore case and our youth today. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these important messages.
H&H Financial Services in Mobile has over 20 years experience in accounting, bookkeeping, appraisals, real estate, and year-round tax preparations. Give them a call today at 251-438-1620 or visit them at 1560 St. Stephen's Road in Mobile. Let your money grow in our care at H&H Financial Services.
Accident, hurt, you don't know what to do or who to call? Car insurance or not, we got you. No money, no problem. We got you. We get paid by the car insurance. Don't delay, they got you. Call me, Dr. James Gordon, DC, at 476-PAIN. We got you. That's 476-PAIN. The choice is yours.
Join Robert Battles, Henry Hasib, and myself this Sunday at 5:30 in the morning for the next edition of Rise and Shine on Fox 10. Welcome back. I hope you enjoying the conversation of Rise and Shine, Pastor Gilbert and myself, James Gordon, and we're going to continue this discussion. Looks like we may have to do another show on this issue, as it's a lot of information that we need to put out there, and a lot of things, a lot of hurdles we need to clear. We've got a problem with our youth not respecting themselves or other people as much as we were taught to. And I guess one of the problems I would blame it on is the No Child Left Behind law. When that law came about, it allowed kids to be passed along in school without necessarily learning a lesson. I know many people with high school diplomas today without have to still take remedial courses when to get to the regular college courses because of the fact that they did not get the lessons they needed in the high school lessons. So as the caller was saying, Pastor Gilbert, I think we do have to find a way to give these children the self-worth and the self-esteem, and to instill in them that they must respect authority. No one owes you anything.
Absolutely.
No one has to be here. When a child says, well, I didn't ask to be born, you're right. No one has to be born.
No one.
We're in the same boat. Everybody's in the same boat. No one owes us anything. The world gives us opportunities, and as the caller said, it starts with education. Education is the great equalizer.
Yes,
and
sir.
as you said, if it doesn't happen in the home, if we have children raising children, then the neighborhood must come together to help raise our children. These older gentlemen, such as Pastor Gilbert and I, must witness to our young men when we get a chance. And you're not going to be listened to sometime, and that's okay. If it takes, how many times supposed to turn the cheek, Pastor?
7 times 7.
And that's how many times we'll tell our youth. Amen. Join us next week for another edition of Rise and Shine. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please do call in with your comments, email us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Wake up, America. Okay, so someone say, well, what have you done for the community, Doc? I mean, you talk all this stuff about what people should do for the community. Well, we'll go way back. Well, we started out in '97. When we started out here in Mobile, we found that the Boys and Girls Club needed a bus, a vehicle to take the kids to and from activities. So we bought a bus. It was about a 60-passenger bus, old city bus, old Pensacola city bus, and we donated to the city of Pritchard, Boys and Girls Club. And they used that bus for many years. They used that bus to take patients or take their clients to and from events. So they got about 10 good years of use out of that bus that we donated to the city of Pritchard or to the Boys and Girls Club. We donated police motorcycles to the cities. We donated tons of food. There was a heat wave in Mobile. Mobile seemed like it's always a heat wave, but it was, one time degrees were over 100 degrees for a long period of time. And we basically decided to go out and buy some box fans and deliver them to the citizens of Pritchard and Mobile. We drove around. We've seen senior citizens that knew where senior citizens lived. We'd give them a free box fan. Wake up, America.
H&H Financial Services in Mobile has over 20 years experience in accounting, bookkeeping, appraisals, real estate, and year-round tax preparations. Give them a call today at 251-438-1620 or visit them at 1560 St. Stephen's Road in Mobile. Let your money grow in our care at H&H Financial Services.
Car wreck hurt? No insurance? No problem. We got you. Call 476-PAIN. The choice is yours.
Parkinson's disease is a neurological movement disorder affecting an estimated 1 million Americans, including many under age 40. The American Parkinson Disease Association is the largest grassroots network in the United States, working to help ease the burden and find the cure for those coping with Parkinson's. Visit apdaoptimism.org today to find out how you can help millions live with dignity and optimism. Your action today will help APDA put an end to Parkinson's disease.
Join Robert Battles, Henry Hasib, and myself this Sunday at 5:30 in the morning for the next edition of Rise and Shine on Fox 10.